And welcome back to RealAg Radio. It's now time to talk to today's show sponsor, Pride Seeds. And we're joined right now by Pride Seeds Market Development Agronomist in Ontario. It is Carrie Maclean. Carrie, great to have you on the program.
Thanks so much for having me, Shaun. It's great to talk to you.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Spring felt kind of elusive 2 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden the weather's looking a lot better. I know you've been out and about. Last week, the Pride Seeds team was out at the Canadian Dairy Expo as one example. You've done a number of different farm shows through the winter. What's some of the things that you've been hearing from growers as we get a little bit closer to planting time?
Well, you're exactly right. The weather has taken a pretty sharp turn here in southwestern, south central Ontario, and it sounds like across a large swath of the country as well. So people went from their snowsuits to their rain boots to now things are drying up really quickly. We're having a 20-degree day here with heavy winds in south central Ontario, and that is perfect conditions for things drying up. At the Dairy Expo last week, everyone had their weather apps open and looking ahead to the beautiful weather. And out driving around the territory today, I'm noticing a lot of tillage tools hooked up and sitting in front of shops. Manure tankers are sitting out by the barns. I've seen the odd planter kind of sitting in front of the shop as well. So people are really feeling the spring conditions and getting geared up to start some of that spring work. Yeah,
and we kind of wait all winter for this, right? This is kind of the time period. It's funny that it always kind of goes in parallel with sort of baseball. You got to get through the winter, you see spring training, and then it's opening day, and it's, we have lots of anticipation for this time of the year. But having said that, this is also the time of the year we need to focus on that soil being fit. Do not rush.
Exactly. This is the time of year that farmers live for. And so it makes sense that they're all feeling a little extra antsy here in the nice weather conditions. But patience is so important. And farmers know their own ground, know their own soil better than anyone else. But it is something that I do preach. And I grew up on a farm with some real sticky clays, so I'm probably run on the cautious side. But making sure that your soils are fit before you get out there with any heavy equipment is going to be key. So, for example, today, like I said, I was seeing some different tillage tools kind of around the countryside. Right now, I think I'd much prefer farmers to be, boots on the ground. If you really itching to get out of the field, it's the perfect time to be out reassessing your wheat stands, taking a look for some of the weeds that are coming up, assessing how your fall herbicides did, and making tweaks and tinkering with your plans for the year ahead. All that kind of agronomic work is really important, and we've been given a really nice window here to get some of that extra stuff done that can be tough to fit in some years.
Yeah, there's lots of sayings that kind of go here, like patience is a virtue, or maybe the opposite is sometimes the early bird doesn't get the worm, things like that. I know you also want to talk about some of the plot work that the Pride Seeds agronomy team has, the plans in place for the upcoming season. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So as most folks know, the seed companies were all involved in a lot of trials throughout the growing season, and at Pride, we're no different. We're very excited to have a really wide network of different plots with our hybrids and varieties. We work closely with our dealers and retail networks to get that done so that we can see our current commercial hybrids and varieties as well as experimentals in the field under, real farm conditions. So as an agronomist, this is what I look for, is these trials. But in addition to just looking at some of the variety trials, we do a few extra fun things every year to try and really get to know each of our hybrids really well before they make a splash in the marketplace. So one of the big ones that our team is working on, and this is from all across the country, our Pride Agronomy team is working on doing experimentation, looking at populations for both corn and soybeans, how do different populations affect different hybrids and varieties, and that is with grain corn, that is with soybeans, that is with silage corn hybrids as well. And digging into that a little bit deeper, we're looking at earflex, and that is something the industry has been talking about for years, but we're trying to really kind of level up on that earflex data this year.
If you want more information about Pride Seeds, today's show sponsor, also a sponsor of our corn and soybean school here at Real Agriculture, go to prideseeds.com, or of course you can also talk to your local retailer. Carrie, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks so much, Shaun.
That is Carrie Maclean, Market Development Agronomist with Pride Seeds. We'll be right back on RealAg Radio right after this.